they were second-class citizens. But it was strategic for social engineering. They wanted a society in which the children would have to figure things out on their own. With the father working and the mother out there, the state can raise the children for social engineering. And they tried to make a woman feel as if she was losing something or missing something, or weak, if she aspired to have a career in raising her family. Now, why am I going here? I'm going to show you how this comes around full circle. One moment. We all heard about the Tuskegee experiment, right? Tuskegee syphilis experiment. We all talk about it, but what we don't talk about is the science of targeting our women reproduction organs through science and inoculation. This is science and direct. What they don't tell us about this experiment is that this is biological warfare, shooting stuff into a man that they know could be dealing with women that would make women what? Have issues bringing forth children eventually. Through eugenics, like Lawyer mentioned, they would use science to target women for biological warfare against a society. It has nothing to do with man or woman. It has something to do with the weakness of man. The weakness of man, and using women as biological weapons. It happened during the Vietnam War, where the Vietnamese would do what? Infect the woman, their women with syphilis, and send them in, later on, send them in amongst the army troops to get them sick with the disease, to make them weak enough to be conquered by the Vietcong. Biological warfare. This was the plan, folks. Warfare against a society. It has nothing to do with man or woman. The woman. The weakness of man, and using women as biological weapons. It happened during the Vietnam War, where the Vietnamese would do what? Infect the woman, their women with syphilis, and send them in, later on, send them in amongst the army troops to get them sick with the disease, to make them weak enough to be conquered by the Vietcong. Biological warfare. This was the plan, folks. Right? Now I'm going to show you where it goes. Why am I going here? If you push liberation, separation of family, that would leave more women without a tradition, without a legacy to bring forth. And they'll be single out there dealing with whoever they would like. Understanding that women exponentially outnumber men. Right? So what happens if this science progresses from one shot all the way up to the shots we have today, with the plan of depopulation, sterilization, infertility? You would need a liberated society to have all these people dealing with one another in adultery, sin, fornication, to infect and spread a disease all over the earth to a point where the government would need to do what? Order and rendition. Where it'll get out of hand to the point where it's destroyed inwardly, and that civilization could no longer survive. Look at your screen. How many people today are on Instagram? 1.386 billion. Instagram. Facebook Messenger, 1.3 billion. Instagram has become a place where what? Harlotry or selling yourself has become legal without them telling the population. Why is God allowing this? Huh? Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Let's go. Let me get this out of the way here. Hold on, folks. Let me get this out of the way. I want you all to see this. Tinder has risen to fame in less than a decade of registering and presence in the online dating world, ranking among the most popular dating apps today makes it even sexier. In collating Tinder statistics, we considered how long Tinder been around, Tinder demographics, usage statistics, how to compare with other apps, and so much more, right? Now, but when you go into the statistics, there are 57 million Tinder users, 62% of which are male, and only 10.3% which subscribe to Tinder Plus and Tinder Gold. Now, brothers and sisters, Tinder is a place where people go to find people to be with. And the majority of people are going there is for relation. Not only that, not just the majority, all of them. Tinder is available over 40 different languages and all, but it talks about this, folks. Just think about this. 57 million Tinder users. 1.3, almost 1.4 billion Instagram users. Now I understand why they call the next generation Generation Z. That's the end of the alphabet. Because when I was growing up, the only choice you had was the people you know, either on your block or you met in school. Just imagine someone has the privacy of their home without any judgment to deal with anyone they want at any time without anyone finding out. And you're liberated. That means all people are connected. and are dealing with each other all over the earth, especially within the United States. And at the same time, people are getting inoculations. So if you think syphilis was something, folks, the data isn't even out yet. What's to come from the experiment we are currently under? It was all about, I'm going to tell you, depopulation. So people want to ask Elder Lawyer, why is God allowing this? America had a standard. The world had a standard. We as Israelites has had a standard and opportunity. And the people have chosen their side. And they have chosen death. They have chosen suicide. And this is what you choose when you choose freedom, or what they call liberty, over a standard. Over a standard. And this is why the Bible tells us. Now, is this to absolve man? No. Why do you think man is 63% of those that are on Tinder? So they may be hiding in the dark or think that no one is seeing them or they're getting away with it, but eventually they will become carriers. And there's people that are dealing with this stuff, private, online and all that, and they're going to be carrying stuff back to their family members. And the woman is going to be bringing things back to who she's with. And we're going to have an infertile sterility problem all through the earth, with people dying off with no cause in sight for why they're being disappeared. We're in it already. So Satan set up a system in anonymity, total privacy, to have people operate knowing how impulsive mankind can be if given the chance without anyone judging them. Oh man, how maniacal. Lead us not into temptation. Deliver us from evil. What they knew that man and woman could not resist partaking or biting that fruit, especially if no one's looking. But still, in this virtual world, all people have connected themselves and have dealt with each other. Elder Lawyer, why did the Bible says, what does the Apocrypha or the Bible says about liberty? About liberty. The woman liberation.
Yes, sir.
What does the Bible, let me tell you, the woman liberation is against God. It's against God. It's nothing to do with someone being controlling, verbally. They done came up with the verbal abuse now. Has nothing to do with that. It was really about being free to do what I want to do without judgment, without anyone saying anything. Let's read that real quick.
Yes, sir. Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 26, verse number 10.
And because
if thy daughter be shameless.
Hold up now. I'm going to show you how that works on the other side with the men. Because women liberation stated that let women be liberated from man, which is against God in of itself. But then It only allowed more women who are free to have access to men who were married. And then it becomes secular. Right? There's too many women compared to the number of men. And now man is seeing all this opportunity that wasn't there before, because at one time, people were attached to other people. So it becomes secular. The temptation is there because a man is starting to look at the numbers and saying, well, for every one of me, there's 4 or 5 of them. And I don't have to incentivize myself with them because I can go on Tinder or something and get the benefits of marital relations without worrying about the commitment or the financial fallout to divorce a woman. Right? So it's secular. The woman liberation was so evil because it wasn't just against the woman. It was now with the men having options they didn't have before. Lead us not into temptation. To a degree where the whole melting pot, everyone is dealing with everyone else, and they're all connected under a hive mind controlled through Satan. And these are the people who are confused to what's going on today. And 9 times out of 10, these are the people who have taken the juice and are spreading all types of stuff one amongst another right now. Where now you have to ask, you have not only teach your sons and daughters what's going on with the Most High, you have to warn them that they cannot even sleep with somebody unless they know the medical history of the medical history, or you can't even marry a person unless you know the medical history of whether or not they've taken the juice. That's how bad liberty is. Let's read that real quick, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. Sirach, chapter 26, verse number 10.
Come on.
If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through.
Matter of fact, because we have a delay, I'm going to let you read it all the way out and then I'll break it down.
Yes, sir. If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty.
Lest she abuse herself through what?
Overmuch liberty.
Lest she abuse herself with what?
Overmuch liberty.
Overmuch liberty. The Most High knew in scriptures what would happen if women were liberated under government. It would destroy the future of family. You can't be liberated from whom the Most High took you out of. So you had men who sought themselves to be liberated from God, and you have women who sought to become liberated from the man, in which if it wasn't for the man, the woman being taken out of the man, she would not exist. So now we have come to the apex of it all. We have come to the end of it all, to why God is allowing this now, folks. Because there's another phase going into the mark of the beast in the metaverse, where those that are online are chopping at the bit to leave reality into another mental universe, not realizing, listen to me clearly, and I'm going to prove this in the academy in the gates of hell. They are opening up the gates of hell, and people will be entering the gates of hell through the metaverse. And see, our children are already used to fighting crazy and weird looking creatures and all that online and all that, and seeing these weird creations that are really hell creatures. And when they get in that metaverse, that virtual reality, and guess what? It's not going to be like it is here, where you can play a game, lose your life, and hit the restart button. Okay? And we're going to hear about people on games and all that losing their lives and all of that. And they're going to claim it was the C word, it was the virus. Let me tell you, the majority of the people that are going to be dying in this country and throughout the world will be through the technology they're using first, before the war. Because what they're doing now is working perfect. People are taking the stuff, the Jews. People are entering into the metaverse. And on top of that, they're dealing with one another, not realizing a judgment is coming. Here we go. You want to know what the end of the world looks like? Huh? Hey, Elder Lawyer, we don't have an academy tomorrow, but I think this kind of covers some of that, the spirit of what we be dealing with in the academy, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
All right, right. Why is God allowing this? Because this is what the people want. Let's go. They trust in death and stay thereon.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
No, they trust in oppression and stay thereon. Let's go there.
Yes, sir. Yep. Isaiah 30 and 12.
Yep.
Isaiah 30, verse number 12. Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise his word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon.
And stay thereon. Now I need you to hold that and go to this is where we are in time, to why the Most High is really judging the whole earth, and has decreed a judgment from the heavens against Babylon in particular. Let's go to Romans 1 real quick, Elder Lawyer. And I need you to go where it says, start at the 28th verse. And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, because they didn't want to set,
yes, sir.
Because America and others didn't want to uphold the standard they claimed they would uphold when they founded this country, that they would push laws, equitable laws, according to the standards of our Bible. Let's read it.
Yes, sir.
Romans
1 and 28.
1 and 28. Let's read it. A matter of fact, let's start 28.
And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient.
Because we didn't put God first, to teach our children the importance of making sure he's prioritized first. Because we didn't want to retain God in our knowledge when it comes to the law, statutes, and commandments he gave us after being delivered out of Egypt. And even Let's say white people who colonized the country. You came over as Christians, upheld the Bible. You were saying that you was going to not only rule and teach your family according to these principles, that you would convey those principles even to other races of people within the country, like slaves, North American Indians. That was the agreement, that we would at least agree on the standards, even if we were segregated. To fester unchecked by God's law, it destroys societies, not just families. We're at the end of civilization as we know it, folks. There was rules of engagement. They just didn't come over and enslave people and do all this. Nah, there had to be a moral component that they would agree on to establish such a country. Because if it's just evil and wickedness against a people, eventually the people will join together and destroy the place before it had an opportunity to begin. So they had to come with some similitude, a trade-off, when it comes to setting up a moral standard that all of us could agree with, regardless of race. And it was the Bible. So, so it says, and even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind to do all those things which are not convenient. Because you don't want to check with God first, you're confused to what's going on right now. You're taking the juice, you're becoming sterile, you're coming infertile, you're falling out by heart attacks, your whole family's sick, everyone's going crazy because you didn't seek God first. And you became reprobate. Reprobate is a broke mind, where now we have people walking without conscience at all. They're just doing whatever they want to do, whatever that makes them feel good, not realizing the consequences of it. Well, hey, I don't care as long as I get the bag. Listen, the bag is going to be done. No society, no bag. And what benefit is it to gain the world and lose your soul? What benefit is it to get a bag and lose your soul? Finish reading, Elder Lawyer.
Verse 29, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backbiters, haters of God, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents, without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful, who knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death.
Are worthy of
not
what?
only do the same,
Hold up.
are worthy.
Hold up, Elder Lawyer. Why is God allowing this? Read.
Who knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death. Not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them.
So it's not enough that people are doing wickedness. You have people who have pleasure in teaching others to do wickedness. They have pleasure in seeing the whole society erode. If not so, parents wouldn't allow alternative lifestyles and all this other stuff being taught in school. They would understand the gravity of allowing someone who's demented to push an ideology against the standard of God. They would understand the gravity of allowing that. Sick people in authority positions because what? They got a degree? Where you would have a talk show, we'd have a man, woman, and you have something that you don't know what it is talking about. It's both with an equal opinion. that the panel should respect. Why? So we have allowed this. When I say we, I'm just speaking as a whole because I'm here in the earth right now with you all, but I a panel where I can have an equal moral argument or discussion with something that's saying they're both, as if that person has merit when it comes to the discussion. The whole time I'm going to be looking at the thing and saying, what the Hades is this? And that's where I'm going to be going. What do God have to say about you, dude, who's not satisfied with how God made you with a purpose? Hades with this discussion, who's that guy with the dress on? The world has gone mad, and now the whole earth thinks it's funny and it's a joke, and having pleasure in allowing society to erode where there's nothing left for our children. So the Most High is saying, well, listen, it's over. This is Sodom and Gomorrah and the days of Noah wrapped up in one. Let them suicide themselves. But when it comes to a point where it's affecting those who love me, I will intervene. I'm moving my people out of this. And this is, folks, this is why God is allowing this, because this is what the people want. And we're at the end of the Jubilee that God gave us in Genesis 6, folks. We are at the end of it. The timestamp I discussed earlier in the video, we're right here at the end of it. Elder Lawyer, last scripture before I make one more announcement. Let's read Matthew 6:26, that one precept, and let's get 2 Thessalonians, the second chapter.
Yes, sir. St. Matthew chapter 6, verse number 26. Behold the fowls of the air.
Matthew 16. What?
Yes, sir. Matthew 16, verse number 26.
Yes.
For what is a man profited if he shall gain the world and lose his soul?
Read that again.
Or what shall a man? For what is a man profited if he gain the world and lose his soul?
What if a man?
Or what shall a?
What if according to prophecy? Not to say those things shouldn't be sought after, but there should be a balance. God first, mission first. Because a lot of us believe that I can't serve God and go chase the bag too. I have to make my life right, and I got to go chase the bag. And when I get it, then I'm going to do good for my people. How long have we been saying that? How long have we been lying to ourselves? Look how many basketball players, entertainers, and all that, like I've mentioned a few weeks ago, with enough money to buy a whole country for us to live better in. How many of them said once they get out of the hood, they coming back to change things? It's a lie. It's all self-grandizing. It's all doing it so that you're not guilty. When you're out there thinking the angels aren't watching, serving Satan. And this is what Christ says. Christ says, what good is to gain the world and lose your what? Read it, Elder Lawyer. Read both parts.
Yes, sir. For what is a man profited if he shall gain the world and lose his soul?
And lose
Or what shall a man give?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul?
And what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? You have a choice to make. And that's why I went back to the standard first, because brothers and sisters might ask, okay, I've messed up. I didn't know this growing up. exactly where I can begin at this point in my life to get back on path with the God that made for him in judgment. What must I do? Set up a standard. Go back to that standard, that covenant, that agreement, that believe it or not, that even Christ himself consecrated with his own blood, that would give us an opportunity to know in these last days we are beyond any shadow of a doubt the true children of Israel. Christ shed his blood so that spirit could come one day and get us out of this grave and stand up as God's people, as we once stood before in ancient times. So that covenant just didn't start with our forefathers. It was consecrated in heaven through Christ's, Yeshua's sacrifice for us. So it's time for us to instill the covenant. Come back to the standard, which will be our protection, while the whole world, that's right, get renditioned. It's all prophesied. We can look at the diabolical works of Fauci and Bill Gates and eugenics and all the social engineering that these demons are behind. But at the end of the day, folks, there's individual choice. There's individual choice that has nothing to do with none of the men, any of the men I've just mentioned. Right? Setting up a standard. Last scripture, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir.
I need you to go to 2 Thessalonians. Okay. All praises be to the Most High. We're back. I know y'all probably would believe it, but the whole thing went, a blue screen popped up and the computer was gone. So we know how that works. But I'm glad through the spirit of the Most High, brothers and sisters, we were able to get through the majority of the lesson. Well, really all of it. Elder Lawyer, let's pick it up from the last place we were. In Thessalonians, the book of Thessalonians. Okay. 2 Thessalonians.
Yes, sir.
2 Thessalonians, the 5th chapter, the 7th verse. Why is God allowing this? The end, part 2. Let's read.
2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 5. Remember ye not that.
Paul said, remember when I was.
And now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time.
Come on.
For the mystery of iniquity doeth already work.
The mystery of iniquity. The mystery of iniquity doeth already work. Read.
Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way.
Until he be taken out of the way. So, brothers and sisters, don't look for one antichrist man to pop up. That's a lie. The mystery of iniquity was working during the Roman Empire's time. Satan. That's the Antichrist. Rome, the Antichrist government. Okay? Read.
Verse 8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the...
A matter of fact, Elder Lawyer, I need you to read the 7th verse again to why God is allowing this.
Yes, sir. Verse 7. For the mystery of iniquity doeth yet already work. Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way.
Only he who letteth will let, until that demon, that fallen evil Satan is taken out of the way. That's why the Most High is allowing this, because it isn't time yet. More prophecies must be fulfilled. A cashless society in which no man can buy or sell unless they have the mark of Satan must be what? Established. The last war that would lead to the great earthquake must be established. Why? Because it was prophesied these things would happen. Before the judgment. Okay, everything the Most High said in old times in the Bible, when his word go out, it doesn't come back void. So he's bound by his word. So it's not like he's going to cut this short because the earth has become more evil, more wicked. No. He has a time stamp in which he would judge the